I'm really pleased to be hosting this call today. The co-chairs of the organising committee for the conference are Pete and then Dean, who we'll be speaking to later on as well about his session, and I'll be talking some more about other stuff to do with the conference as well, and then myself. So the three of us, for those of you who don't know, we form the organising committee for the conference, and then there's a programming subcommittee as well, of which Kyle's a part of as well, and I think Alex has been involved in, and so we have other people supporting us, and Alan does tons and tons of work as well. So yeah, there's a team effort in making this conference happen. So what I wanted to do for this session today was to provide an opportunity to meet some of the speakers. So we've got loads of speakers at the conference, so we wouldn't have time to speak to everybody. So I thought, well, why don't we hear from people who are going to be presenting for the first time at a GCA conference. So we're going to be speaking with 5 guys who are going to be presenting their sessions for the first time at a GCA conference very soon. I also want to tell you some more information about the conference, give you a bit of an overview of the programme, provide an opportunity to answer any questions that you might have, and also at the same time provide a space for some conversation as well. So it's aware that although most people here I can see, because I've got the list of everyone who's coming, so I know that most people are coming. There are some people not coming yet, but even if you're not able to join us, for you to still have fun and enjoy our call today. Just in terms of booking for the conference, we're at a point where we're at a higher number of attendees than we have been at this point in the conference cycle ever. So we have only a handful of spaces left available if you want to stay in the accommodation at Easton Mountain. So it's still possible to attend. We've got spaces in the quad rooms. We've got spaces in the bunks there. There's an opportunity to camp as well. So I know Alan's going to be pitching his tent up, and he'd quite like to have maybe like to have a next door neighbour. So the opportunity to bring your tent and camp as well. And also we have got people who are staying at local B&Bs as well, and we've got details if you did want to stay off site on the Q&A, the FAQ section on the website with more information about that. So it is still possible to book if you would like to come along. So please do have a look at the website, and you'll be able to see how to book, and spread the word to any other gay coach friends as well who might enjoy the event. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to kick off by doing a breakout room, and we're going to have 10 minutes in the breakout room, and Alan's going to put you into groups of around about 3 people. And the question I want to give to you is, and the reason why I'm setting this question, I can't believe we're in March, not only because we're so close to the conference, but I've realised where I was in terms of I hadn't set my I like my bad coach hat on. I hadn't set my goals for 2023 until the last day of February, and it allowed me to kind of review and actually can see I've achieved a lot already in 2023, and I know there's also a lot more that I want to achieve this year as well. So the question I'd like you to have a chat about within your groups is, what is it that you'd like out of your 2023? So any goals, big or small, that you have for 2023. And if you are coming to the conference, how might being at Easton Mountain, being at the conference with other guys from GCA, how might that help you to get there? So Alan, whenever you're ready, please set up the breakout rooms, enjoy your conversations. So how did you enjoy your conversations? Was that good? Yeah. So I'm really interested. So maybe if you want to share in the chat, so we get an idea of some of the things that you guys want to achieve this year in 2023. So if you want to share some of the things that came up for you in your conversation, please share in the chat, and then let's have an idea of where we're all heading for this year. That would be great. So I can see Alex, writing is in the horizon for you, being present, and Kyle, writing short videos. Yeah, it's really powerful. Yeah, when you hear other people being really specific, I love it because it kind of pushes me, puts me on my toes. Yeah, juggling plates. Oh, I know you, Mike, and your juggling plates. You've always got those going on, haven't you? Oh, Henry, congratulations, going full-time in coaching. That's really exciting. Yeah. Work-life integration, MCCs. Yeah, fantastic. Well, great to see all the things that you guys are achieving this year. Okay, so where am I going to go next? So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully go to the page that I want to get to. So this is the program page for the conference. So on the conference website, you'll see we've got a menu here. If you've not been on the website recently, IGCC 2023, you'll be able to find all the different pages for the conference. So this is the program page that I'm on now. So we will be announcing the full program, full timetable very, very soon. We're just confirming the last few slots, and then we'll be able to give you the full timetable. So that'll be happening in the next couple of weeks. But just as an overview, so everybody arriving on that Wednesday evening. So we're arriving a day earlier than in previous conferences. So everyone will be at there for the full time this time. Arriving for dinner and the opening circle of the conference, which Tim, yet again after last year, he'll be running that again, and that gives us a really nice opening to the conference. And then we'll have the first of our nightly saunas, the wood-fired sauna at Easton Mountain, which is quite legendary. We'll be having that for the first time on the Wednesday night. Thursday, like every morning, we'll kick off with a choice of either meditation or some yoga. And then after breakfast, we will get going, and I'm going to be kicking off with the opening session for the conference this time. So we're going to have a plenary session. So it means we're all going to be together on each of the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday mornings for the first session, and then you'll have a choice of 2 75-minute workouts that you can select from throughout the day. And then we'll have evening activities as well. There'll be cocktail receptions. I'm hoping, Harry, can you make sure you organise some good weather for us, like you did last year? Because it was so nice to be outside on the deck last year. So yeah, whatever you need to do to chant for some good weather, please.
Good. It's very, we don't know how it's going to be. It's either going to be snow or it's going to be sunny and hot. So yeah, bring your appropriate clothes.
Yeah, so that's a good reminder, actually. Dress for any weather, because we never, as beautiful as Easton Mountain is, and it's absolutely stunning for those of you who haven't been yet, we never know what the weather's going to be like. So yeah, so evening program. So some of the activities. So we're going to be having a body electric session one evening, and Craig's going to be able to tell us more about that when I speak to him. We've got a massage evening in preparation as well, which we normally do on a Saturday evening. And the other two activities we're just firming up at the moment, and we'll be able to let you guys know very soon. Final morning of programming is on the Sunday morning. And then we have lunch together before we close out. Very sadly, I'm sure there will be tears. There are always tears. I cried far too many tears, more tears than I'd ever cried in my life after everything that I went through, the positive experiences last time, because it's always very sad to leave each other after the time that we spent together today. So that's a very brief overview of the program. So you'll be able to see more of that on the website soon, and also the conference app, which we're going to come to a little bit later. But what I want to go to next, I want to have a chat with one of our presenters. So I'm going to have a chat with Mike. Where's Mike? Hey, Mike.
Can you see me, Chris?
Yes, I can see you. So you were originally planning to come last year, but you couldn't make it. So yes. Does that mean you're looking forward even more to coming this year?
Yeah, absolutely. From my point of view, I'm very, very excited about getting back to the US, because I was just saying in my breakout session, I've not actually been to the US in 20 years. And for me, I'm just really excited to have face-to-face time, because it's going to make so much difference. And it's always been a real pleasure being in these calls. I'm very excited about it. Excited and nervous, it's probably fair to say, as well. Because I'm traveling quite far. So
yeah. Well, what's nice this year, there's going to be 3 of us at least, and maybe more, who knows, 3 of us traveling from the UK this time. So I'm not sure we've ever had more than 3 from the UK in one year. So so it's going to be your first, you've been at the virtual conferences before, it's going to be your first in-person conference. So tell us about your session, give us an intro to what you're going to be delivering for us, Mike.
Yes, so I've called it Queering the Mind and Coaching. So for me, I'm really interested in mental health, particularly gay men's mental health. And I did do a year-long training in counselling and therapy. And when I reached the end of that qualification, I was at a bit of a crossroads as to whether or not to go deeper into the therapeutic training or to go into the coaching side of things. And I opted for the coaching side instead. And I haven't regretted it at all. But for me, I'm quite curious to kind of bring us all into the kind of space at the conference to think in a deeper level around mental health and what we're doing with our individual offerings when it comes to particularly gay men's mental health. So what we'll do in the session is we'll have a bit of a pause and reflection around where we're at with kind of gay men's mental health. So we'll look at some of the evidence, and I mean this in quite a loose sense. We're not going to be looking at loads of stats, but quite a kind of top level look at where we're at with gay men's mental health, given that we all know that actually gay men are normally have poorer mental health outcomes than their heterosexual counterparts. So we'll look at some of the evidence, and then we'll look forward positively around what the coaching profession can do to help improve that. For me, there's something in my own coaching practice about being really strong on coaching should not be seen as a replacement to therapy. So what I really want to do is explore where the boundaries of coaching lie versus where therapy can come in. We often hear in these sessions and in reading and in the media as well about mental health, but it's really clear to me that actually coaching has got a role to play within this. So being able to scratch the surface of that would be really, really important, really key.
Fantastic. Sounds really good. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot for us to be covering within your session.
Yeah, there is quite a lot. I need to think through that. There'll be a creative element to it as well, which I need to properly think through, but hopefully we'll have some fun with it as well.
Yeah.
Gary, the other thing I was going to mention was trauma-informed practice. I don't know if this translates in the US, if people know what I mean by trauma-informed practice, because certainly in a Scottish context, we're quite up in trauma-informed practice and being able to make sure people are informed about what people have gone through, particularly when you're interacting with them. So there'll be some of that I'll bring in, particularly my learning from my last job at Victim Support Scotland. So making sure that we've been mindful of our own experiences that we're bringing into the coaching room as well. And I noticed Alex mentioned earlier on wellness and authenticity, and I was quite intrigued by that. So there'll be an element of looking at our own authenticity and how we're bringing that into the coaching room and what that means in terms of supporting other people's wellness.
Oh, fantastic. And I can see, Gary, you've got a raised hand. So would you like to ask a question?
Well, first of all, so about the trauma-informed coaching, we recently published an article in Choice Magazine about exactly that. So yes, it is something on the minds of coaches. And my question is, what's a common gay mental health issue? Like, you got all these stats. Give me a flavor.
Yeah, I think there's something around the shame aspect, which absolutely comes across. So we've seen that in sort of common kind of literature and everything else. So something about that kind of deeply rooted nature of shame. So for me, there's something about inviting us all to be a bit reflective around, do we ever actually truly leave that shame behind? And there's some of my own kind of journey in that I'm happy to share with you when we meet. So yeah, just as one example.
Yeah, thank you.
But Gary, it would be good to see that article.
Okay, I'll send it along.
Is it online? Is it online? Or you?
I'll send you a sample. I'll send you the
That'd
issues.
be great, Gary. Thank you.
Okay. And so as an outcome from your session, Mike, can people expect to take away?
Yeah, so I think what I'd invite people to do is think about their own coaching practice and make a commitment. What could you do within your own coaching practice to help better people's mental health? So that could be that you're committing to X number of pro bono hours working with an LGBT charity, as one example. And then is there anything collectively we want the network to do as well? Is there anything collectively we feel we want the network to be doing in this area? to the betterment of LGBT mental health.
Well, it sounds brilliant, and I was really excited when I first saw your proposal for it. So it sounds like it's going to be a brilliant addition to the programme. So I think you've given a good flavour. Everyone's going to be wanting to come and see you. So whoever's up against you, Mike, in the programme, we'll see. I think we've picked some interest there in that one. So thank you. And it'll be great to see you in another country. So we've met in the UK. It'd be great to see you in the US as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hopefully better climate.
Yes.
But Sari says unpredictable.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to another breakout room now. So the theme for this year's conference is who we are, exploring identity and creating change. And we're going to have another 10 minutes, and again in groups of 3, you're going to be in a different 3 this time. And I'd like you to just consider what the word identity means to you. And within the conversation that you have together, so identities that we all share, so we're all gay men and we're all coaches. What are some of the other identities that we have, and maybe find other identities in common with each other? So it's what identity means to you, and what are some of the identities you have other than being a gay man and being a coach, and maybe find some common ground. So Alan, whenever you're ready, let's go. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. So I'd love to know what are some of the things that you found, elements of identity that you found in common. So we've got time. So anyone like to shout out verbally? Or you can type in the chat box if you like, but it'd be really nice to hear from some people what you found in your conversations.
Well, in my quad, I think, I was the only agnostic. But someone said that when identity markers are used to elevate their status in a particular place really resonated with me. So, and I feel the exact same way. Although, who said that for my group? Was that Henry? Somebody? Thor said that. So, yeah.
It's funny that you hit on religion, because we were 3 Catholics. Well, it's in our history, not necessarily practicing.
Yeah.
We had 3 who have been or are married to immigrants.
Yeah, forgot about that one, Thor. Yeah.
We were 3 guys that wear glasses.
We had a lot of variety, but we had 3 writers in the group, all writing in very different ways, but expressing through words was strong for all of us.
Henry, weren't we all from the South or had lived in the South? Yeah.
Not me.
No. Okay, one. Exceptional one.
Isn't it interesting when you start to peel back the surface and you discover more things that we have in common? So there's going to be lots of conversations, as you'd expect, given the theme around identity, and lots of different levels at the conference. Okay. So I'm going to move to have a chat with another one of our presenters. So I'm going to call on Craig. So Craig, I know that this is far from your first time at Easton Mountain, but this is going to be your first time attending a GCA conference at Easton Mountain.
That's correct.
Yeah. So Craig, so you're going to be delivering 2 sessions for us, both related to the work that you do with Body Electric. Now, just in case there is anybody who doesn't know what Body Electric is, could you give an overview of Body Electric?
Sure. Yeah, well, thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Well, it's interesting because I think, the people who founded the Gay Coaches Alliance were teachers from Body Electric. So I think that there's been a real, very deep dance between Body Electric and the Gay Coaches Alliance really from the beginning. And I know there's a lot of people here who've done Body Electric. Raise your hand if Body Electric is new for you, like you've not done anything with Body Electric. Great. Beautiful. So Body Electric is an organization started in 1984 in San Francisco that over time evolved into an invitation to awaken and get in relationship with your own erotic body, your own erotic energy, through what the school calls Taoist erotic massage. How do I give? How do I receive erotic touch in safe, clear, pleasurable ways? And so the school has been offering, and I think in some ways Body Electric is one of the most kind of like conscious and elevated forms of erotic education on the planet. You know, the erotic education that most of us never really got, or that got very unskillfully as we, you know, grew up. And so, you know, Body Electric is about coming home to our bodies. What's my relationship with my body? How do I live in this incredible body that is in, you know, that is my home as I hurtle through space on a planet? And how can I befriend my body? How can I learn to stay in my body as a source of healing and activation? Body Electric is about tapping, raising, and spreading and making available in our lives our erotic energy, our life force energy that is our birthright, that is available to all of us. Body Electric's about what's my relationship with pleasure. You know, there's a tantric principle. Pleasure is healing. How do I activate pleasure in my body? How do I make my entire body an erotic organ, available for pleasure? And what can that do for me? How can it activate my joy? How can it activate my life force energy? How can it help me heal? You know, I appreciated what Mike was saying about how shame lives in our lives. Body Electric is an invitation to descend into the body in a way that can help shed and heal layers of shame that we all walk with, you know, sometimes chronically. And Body Electric, a great vehicle of Body Electric is our relationship with the breath. Learning how to do simple, effective breath work is a way to, again, activate this life force energy, get into relationship with it. You know, we talk a lot of this question of, you know, who am I if I walk in the world with my cock and my heart connected? What does that mean for me? And so it's an invitation into aliveness. It's an invitation into healing. It's an invitation into connection, deep, intimate connection with self and other people. And we do this in community with other people who are also seeking these same things. And I think most people, a lot of people who have gone through Body Electric really name it as one of the most profound experiences in their lives of self-actualizing. What happens if I start practicing these best parts of myself with intention and community and with support? Right. So at the conference, there's going to be two experiences. One is going to be all clothing on without erotic touch. There'll be some light, like less risky touch with breath work. And it's really kind of like, what is this thing, this container that we create about Body Electric, using breath, using intention, using communication? Who am I as a giver? Who am I as a receiver of touch and pleasure? And so that'll just be kind of a beautiful entry point and a taste of what we do in Body Electric. And then there's going to be an evening situation when we'll be, you know, letting go of our clothing, these layers of separation we won't need, and offering erotic touch to other people and to receive it ourselves, to go into a little deeper dive. And of course, the point of this is to give you as a coach an experience personally that if it occurs to you that someone that you're working with could benefit from becoming embodied more, from getting into relationship intentionally with their erotic energy, from healing some of the sexual issues we walk with, to heal and release and let go of shame. Who am I if I walk in the world with less shame? You know, all of us have clients who walk with these issues. And Body Electric is a great vehicle. It's a great medicine in the world that can support people in deep transformation. So this is going to be a taste of those things on two different levels. And I hope you come. It's deep, it's fun, it's challenging, it's edgy, and it's, just really, really useful. So.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful that you've created the 2 sessions there. So for people who are brand new to Body Electric, they'll first of all get to experience the session with clothes on, with the breathwork side of things during the daytime program, and then the second session, the evening program, that will follow after the daytime one. So you've got an opportunity to have a taste for what Body Electric is about, and then if you want to then attend the second session, if you'd had any doubts beforehand, hopefully the people will have an opportunity to experience and learn some more and get a preview as to what you'll be doing for everybody with the second session.
Yeah, if hearing about a clothing off erotic session major anus clench, that's an indication to go and try it. No, though we will not be doing anal pleasure work, although that's a wonderful thing. That anuses are off limits, and I know, God, jeez. But yeah, if it feels like an edge, oftentimes it's interesting to explore. And my promise to you is that we will do it with great care, as we do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Craig.
So thank you for the space to talk.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well,
okay.
Can I just say something before we move on?
Please do, Gary.
So thank you, Craig, because up until now, I felt more like Body Electric was at the edge of a cliff. I was at the edge of a cliff of fear.
Yes.
The directness of your language has me go, oh, like a bit of trepidation with the clarity with which you speak. How would it be if you walk with your cock in your hand and your heart? I'm like, okay, what am I signing up for? Right. And yeah, so just thank you. I feel more comfortable, and I've always wanted to do it. So here's my
come on. And the good news is that at any point in the experience, we have a space where you can step out and you can be like, what, I need a minute. I'm going to observe, I'm going to hold space with people. And then, you know what I mean? So it's trying to make it as user-friendly as possible.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Great. Thanks, Craig. Thank you. So I'm going to move on and speak to another of our presenters now. So the next person I'm going to call on is Alex. So Alex, you attended GCA conference for the first time last year. And what did you love about it so much that you decided to come back for a second time this year?
What's not to love? I think that the virtual conference was really wonderful as well, but there's something about having those side conversations outside of the sessions, making friends. I see a lot of them that I still consider friends. If I haven't kept up with you guys, hey, Mark, for example, it's not because those deep connections weren't made. And I think maybe in our daily lives, you just don't. The sauna is amazing. I mean, I could go on about how wonderful it was. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what more to say. It changed my life. I'm hurtling towards becoming a coach now. I'm certified as a personal trainer as well. So I'm looking really at that intersection of all of those things. And in listening to other people talk, there's so much overlap between what I'm going to be presenting on and what Mike does, and also what Craig does. I say, oh, I do a little bit of that as well from a different viewpoint. So I guess, kudos to you guys for coming up with a coherent program that, that I think people can get a lot out of. And if you don't get a lot out of it, it's just great to be with a bunch of guys who are like-minded guys. I really said, I found my tribe. So is that good?
Yeah, love it. Who else agrees with what Alex just said there? I could everything that Alex said there. I agree with all of that. Yeah. So it was nice. So I remember having a conversation with you and the stage that you're at with your coaching journey last year, and I'm so pleased for you the way that things have developed for you over the past year, and it's great that you're going to be presenting one of the sessions this time. So could you tell us some more about what you're going to be delivering for us this time?
Sure. The session is on authenticity, which very much has to do with identity. But so in terms of outcome, I want everyone who attends that session to walk away with things that they can use in their coaching practice. So that's my goal. But in order for me to do that, you have to experience it. You have to be on the other end of that experience. So I don't do PowerPoint. So those of you who are scared of death by PowerPoint, I don't do that. What I want is I want the workshop to have its own life, where it just kind of lifts, and I'm not doing it. I'm just standing at the sidelines and saying, "What the heck just happened?" It's it's the participants that are doing that. And the last time I presented something very similar to Easton Mountain, that happened. I had a whole bunch of people who hated writing. Well, narrative is very much a part of what I do. And I'm so happy that now we have so many writers, and they won't tell me what that group told me was, "You want me to write for 20 minutes? I can't write for 20 minutes. That's impossible." But then when the 20 minutes came, they said, "Is that it? You're stopping us now?" So and that was a wonderful thing for me. That's what I'm talking about. Is like, I didn't do that. You did that. There's a lot of laughter, not laughing at my jokes. They were laughing at each other's jokes and into it. So authenticity is something we talk a lot about, I think, and it's about getting that definition for you and getting that definition for your clients. So that's the goal of this, is having that experience of finding out what authenticity means and how can you make your life more authentic. So that's a lot of words. I have a friend, and I explained everything to her, and she says, "Oh, you should call your workshop How Not to Be a Fake Bitch." And I thought, okay. She says, if you want to do this, in corporate America. I said, "I can say that in corporate America?" She says, "Oh yeah, you can." So that's it.
Yeah, great. And where does your love of writing come from, Alex?
Well, I was an English teacher for so many years, and behind every English teacher is a frustrated writer. So, and now I'm not an English teacher anymore. So, but this topic though, authenticity, is something I write about all the time. So it's my favorite topic to write about.
Great. So I remember seeing earlier on in the chat box some goals that people have around writing more. So it sounds like maybe coming to your workshop, Alex, will be a good way of encouraging people to write more. And I'd count myself within that. I want to write more this year. So coming to your session, that's going to help us with that. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for the preview there. I'm going to move next I'm going to go to speak to Reed next. So.
Yes, thank you. About my workshop, is that?
Yeah, please. So this is, so
sure.
This is your first time at a GCA conference, but have you been to Easton Mountain before? Is it your first time at Easton Mountain?
It is not my first time at Easton Mountain.
Ah.
First time was in, I think that was 2002, Harry, your coaching class. So yeah, that's where it all started. So so my workshop has a wonderful title that flows off of my tongue, Unlocking Possibilities with Floor Pattern-Based Coaching. Please, somebody help me with better branding. But I was inspired by work that I've done both in the CTI training when they do balance coaching, where they, lay out tape on the floor and create sort of a pie, as well as the bigger game, which I mentioned earlier, which is done in sort of a tic-tac-toe grid on the floor. And things that I liked about it were that, I being one of the other folks whose life was completely changed by Body Electric, a lot of somatic, kinesthetic body wisdom and intuition is something that I wanted to tap into. And my intent in this workshop is to take some of the things that are common between the bigger game, which also has a grid on a floor and people move around, and it's sort of a coaching process, as well as the balance coaching, and try to think about, well, how could this be very easily used and customized by coaches and clients. And my thinking is that if we start with those two basic shapes, and we also start with the concept of, even if I'm doing phone coaching with a client, have them get up and move around, have them put things on the floor and walk around, shift their perspective, their geography, their physical presence in a room or a space, then that could be really good potential. And sort of wedding that with some of the things that have been helpful to me in coaching. So calling Harry out again as my first coach, the Enneagram, which is something I know a lot of people know about. So what if I were to take the Enneagram and put that on that pie chart on the floor and say, hey, so my perspective here is as my default as a peacemaker, but if I have this issue that I'm struggling with, let's say finishing my novel, I think about, well, I would go to the 3, but maybe the enthusiast is also very helpful for me there. So trying to figure out where there's useful energy. And the idea is that any system, or even a made up set of things, like I just want to put a chorus of, or not a chorus, but a set of different personae that mean something to me, my father, my mother, my grandfather, my critical school teacher. I can put them all on the floor and see what perspective that wisdom has for this issue at hand to help me progress. And so my intent is that the participants in the workshop would actually get to experience this by viewing it, and then also I'm hoping that we can do some actual experiential work, coaching each other, and also give them some templates to take away and some ideas about systems or content they could put in these two frameworks, so that they can go and work with their clients and figure out what's a good one for their client, either suggest to their client, like, oh, hey, I would like to coach you around the astrological year. So let's go through this. You client, you know all about that because you're big into astrology and it means a lot to me. So we have a common language here, or come up with something new. So you could talk about, the Enneagram, you could talk about archetypes, you could talk about the astrology, as I mentioned, you could talk about the 7 deadly sins, the 7 cardinal virtues, or whatever they are. You could talk about the 12 steps. So basically, it's this sort of infinite possibilities. So I want to empower the people who are in my workshop to take this and run with it and make it their own.
I love it. So you'll be teaching us a new coaching tool that we can use, and also give us as an experience of actually using this. So it sounds like, so it's very kinesthetic. We'll be moving around the room,
yes,
as and you've created this yourself based upon the Enneagram.
I've created it based on or inspired by balance coaching and the bigger game. So systems of coaching that put content on a floor and tell their clients or the participants to move around and tell them what they are feeling or what they're getting, what's the experience from there. Enneagram is one, it might work. I might, if somebody were coaching me, they could have me put Disney, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Adventureland, etc. That would be helpful for me, or musical theater composers, or whatever we want to do. Anything.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds brilliant. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to be really struggling to decide what I'm going to attend at this conference, and just notice we've only heard from 4 people so far out of the whole program. and you put a group of gay men together who are coaches and ask them to be creative and come up with sessions, and they all interpret a theme in an entirely different way. And I love it. I find this so inspiring. So thank you for what you've created, Reid. I'm really going to be looking forward to that. Okay, I'm going to come full circle now, and I'm going to come back to my colleague, Dean, my co-organizer. And I am so happy that I'm going to get to see you at Easton Mountain this year. So I remember like, I flew out on the Monday before the conference started last year, and I was packing on the Sunday, and I got a WhatsApp message from Dean. I've got COVID. I can't come. It's like, oh, and we've done all of this work together, planning the conference, and I was really gutted for you that you weren't going to be able to take part in the conference that you put so much hard work into. But even though you were sick with COVID, you were still working tirelessly behind the scenes and helping it happen. So it's going to be extra special to be able to see you at Easton Mountain. We met up, and you were better by the time we finished. So it was so nice to be able to meet up in New York afterwards on my way back. But the session that you were going to deliver last year, you're going to do something similar for us this year, aren't you? Yours is going to be the day 3 plenary, and this is going to be involving Lego.
Yes. So this is going to be essentially a workshop in Lego serious play. And I don't know if any of you have heard of it before, so I'll give a very brief idea that it is a facilitation methodology that came out of facilitation, the world of facilitation. But it is in certain ways so generic that it's terrific. I have found applied into coaching environments, and it can be now again it came out of group facilitation, and so it is very, very powerful for aligning and building group cohesion, creating a safe environment. But I have also found in my own practice that it's a terrific tool for coaching one-to-one. And specifically, I think I want to bring out from sort of help tie with a bow some of the things that we've heard. If we are talking about identity, and if we are talking about these topics which reach into all kinds of things, shape, body image, sexual identity, gender identity, all of these things, preference identity, these things can be so loaded. As Gary was talking about, this stuff gets so loaded, we don't even know where, right? Things they can be deflected into other areas. And probably the most amazing and wonderful thing about the two things about Lego serious play is that, first off, you're treating what you are doing as it has to be safe, because after all, it's play, right? We know that at the beginning, anything that's happening within the activities that are going on, we're going to come out okay on the other side. That's the premise of play. It has guide rules. It has things that we do. But what I find also is probably in this case most interesting and most useful is that as you are, well, here I am. I'll show you all. Just here's what I got sitting on my desk. Here's my cast of characters, right? Is this me? Yes, it's all me, and it's also, my cohort and my friends and so on and so forth. The ability to take all this loaded stuff that's inside and start from something very, very completely generic and turn it into something completely, specific, right? I'm just taking different pieces apart. Is an amazing thing because I'm no longer the one who I'm talking about, and so it's really safe. I can talk about the model. I can talk about this little character, this neutral character that I can now embody with all kinds of qualities, and I can talk about it safely. And so And so that's where the power of using this method can be really helpful in working for yourself, but also for your clients in these settings to really get at the heart of the things that they need to work through. So my intent is that I think it'll be fun, number one. But as I say, it's also going to be there'll be, if there's any clenching going on, it's probably going to be, perhaps this guy and not you, Gary. So, so it'll all be safe. It'll all be fun. You can get to deep stuff or not. And I hope you come away with another tool in your bag, but also perhaps some personal stuff that you yourself were not ready to expose to yourself. So it's the unknown unknowns we hope will surface too. There you go.
That's fantastic. And it's like, who would have known when we were playing with our Lego all those years ago when we were kids that you could have this other way of using Lego that we're gonna be playing with it together. It's amazing.
Right.
So I'm very conscious of time. We've this time 90 minutes has flown by. Before we shoot off, there's a couple of things. So Dean, you wanted to put out a call for some help.
So I'll tell you very quickly that we will have somebody who will be helping us with logistics and all from Easton Mountain. So I'm saying this now, you can help and be a volunteer. You don't have to know the landscape. You don't have to know where things are and so on and so forth. We're very good about getting our logistics in order and in place. But it would be helpful to have hands around to move things or help in other ways. So if you'd like to volunteer, I will put up a sign-up sheet for that, probably by, I don't know if I'll get it out tomorrow, but probably within 4 or 5 days time, and then we'll send a notice out so you can get on the volunteer list. I know also that people who volunteered, they really felt very much an even deeper part of connecting with the group and with people because they put themselves out there to do that. So
and Dean, just so you know, you can also, at the event, we usually have a call out. Anything you need help with, you can just say, oh, by the way, we need this and this at this hour, or whatever it is. So feel free to ask us there. We're way more willing to jump in when we actually get there. So
sure.
Thank you very much. And thanks for bringing Lego to my adult life. I can't wait. Chris, thank you so much for doing this for us today. You're still making it tough, buddy. I don't want to see any of these people are here today against each other on the schedule. Okay, there's your challenge. Yeah, good luck, right?